So, XMen 97.
Taking it.
A lot of people are excited about it. We are. I wish we would
finish the goddamn segment.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're done now, Mr. Glasses.
But now some people are upset with this coming out. Believe it or not.
Do tell.
Before I even want to get into it,
Ugh.
I want to talk about.
You know why I was just all upset about something? Because I knew we were gonna get into it with these fuckers, man. Fucking hate these guys.
Yeah, well,
I don't hate them.
Ballsy.
I'm just really disappointed by them as human beings.
Yes. So we're going to be talking about some people's thoughts on X-Men, and it's not necessarily the trailer itself. The trailer itself, a lot of people, including some people, actually, I don't think one of these guys, Eric July, talked about it before. But the other ones, they seemed pretty excited about it, and then immediately made content to bitch about it. And it wasn't even anything in the trailer.
No, you don't say.
So the big problems that stem from this, the clips we're going to have are Geeks and Gamers, Melanie Mack, Tyrone Magnus making his first appearance on the Grift Report, and Eric July. So the story is that Morph, the shape-shifting character, is coming back and is going to be non-binary. I want to reiterate that this is a shape-shifting character.
Yeah.
A character that can be any gender, any person they want to be. Of course, they're non-binary.
You know,
it's not even anything with the sexual orientation. It's like it just makes sense that wouldn't identify. You know what I mean?
You know what's great about this though? This is absolute proof that these fuckers are grifters. You want to know why?
Why?
Where the fuck were they during Gen V? Nowhere.
They didn't talk about it.
They didn't talk about it at all. That was way more offensive. If you want to talk about offensive-ness, not to me, but to those fucks.
I said it on Twitter.
Yeah.
It doesn't make money for them.
Yep.
It flew too close to their own audience.
Exactly, dude. Exactly.
And they hate to admit how good that show is mocking them.
Yes. So fuck off, man. I mean,
because that's what a good satire does.
Yeah.
And that's why these people.
But that's what I mean.
Every person in this, I truly hope, is grifting. Otherwise, they're really stupid
or horrible.
So
human
I'd like
beings,
to think,
or horrible human beings.
I'd like they're clearly not stupid because they know how to make money off this. So
Yes.
I don't think these people are stupid by any means.
Far from it.
But if you truly believe this, you need to reevaluate how you engage with this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to throw around the word media literacy because everybody gets in a fucking tizzy about that when you say it.
Social media literacy.
Media literacy is just being like how you can understand a movie, and
you
understand
fucking
themes
watch
and
it.
storytelling.
Yeah, you watch it.
Exactly. So that's why I don't.
That's how I
don't really want to use that term. I'm just saying I'm not telling you how to engage with it. I'm just saying how you're engaging with it. Just don't bother touching it or talking about it if you truly feel that way. Because why you and I were talking about it before we started recording. It just to me makes it seem like you're a really miserable person if you just fucking hate everything. And I'm not saying you have to like everything.
No.
We were just critical of the MCU just a little bit ago.
Yep.
Like, you don't have to like everything, but to call everything woke and make... For the people that say you don't want everything to be political, you intentionally make things political because it makes you money.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's really sad, man. Then what do you do for fun?
I'm just disappointed.
Because it just sounds boring.
I'm just disappointed in all of them. I'm just so disappointed
and this
in
whole
them as
shtick,
human beings.
This whole shtick to me is
money is more
boring.
Yeah, money is more important to you than human life, because all of your rhetoric that you're making money off of is hurting real people, and you don't care. And based on the fucking comments that come onto our videos about these types of things, you've gotten a lot of people to think this way, or you've gotten people who already thought it this way to come out of the woodwork and to be bold about this thinking, which is wrong because it's inhuman. How you talk about other humans, it's really bad, and I don't understand. You guys call us soy boys and cucks and simps, right? Well,
You beta cuck.
yeah, I never watched a
Beta.
I never watched a YouTube video and completely changed my fucking personality.
I've never seen one minor detail about a character, like a character being non-binary.
Yeah.
And make like
And lost
three.
my shit.
Eric July made 3 fucking videos
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah.
Not that specifically, but he used it to grift on his bullshit fucking X-Men video he made years ago.
Of course.
But he says like, "Oh, I don't want to talk about it," but makes 3 fucking videos about it.
Yeah, of course.
And it's the same shit. If you and by the way, you don't get to call anybody a snowflake if you see a trans flag in a movie like Melanie Mack did and say you're not going to watch a movie. You don't get to call anybody weak or or a fucking snowflake. You just can't. If you're that scared of a little thing that is just there in the background.
Yeah.
I just saw today on Twitter, Heel versus Fuckface made a tweet about, "Oh, I just want to get some groceries," and he's pissed off that there's pride flags. And it's like, just get your fucking groceries, you big baby.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Who cares?
I mean, you
and
just,
but I just want to drive that home.
Yeah.
If you truly believe that, I'm going to continue to mock you.
Yes.
I'm not even mad anymore. I think it's fucking
Well,
funny.
no.
I told you when I was editing these
Yeah,
clips, I was just laughing because if you really engage this way with this stuff, then stop engaging with it because you clearly don't understand it. And
right.
I'm not saying
and
that
you're engaging with it to make money,
Yes.
not to really truly bring about any discourse about any real problems. You're just following the bullshit that just
Also,
so fucking
X-Men
irritating.
has it's never been woke before. Despite the fact that the entire identity of this series has been dealing with people that are oppressed.
You know, the whole drug storyline that they did in the 70s that was almost banned by the Comics Code, that would have been called woke back in the 70s, you fucking cocksuckers.
Are you talking about because the legacy virus was, that was like a...
No, they did a story where, like, Storm visited a crack house or a heroin den
But
or
even
something.
but even still, they did
Claremont and Byrne, look it up.
and that's another thing Eric July brings up later is like, well, Stan Lee didn't intend that. Everybody when they talk about X-Men like that, they talk about Claremont as if like, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Well then,
that's what those characters became.
yeah, not my fault.
But we'll address that later. Let's address the morph stuff. So first, Jeremy John's different YouTuber. Jeremy Griggs with Geeks and Gamers, he decided to post a video. This one is titled X-Men 97 is already ruined by Disney wokeness. And he's talking about the morph.
Is that a new kind of chip? Disney wokeness?
Disney wokeness. You got that wokeness dip?
Hey, listen, you know what? I'm not going to eat those Tostitos unless you have some wokeness dip.
Wokeness dip.
Wokeness dip, Mama chip, make them nachos really kick.
But anyway, so again, he's complaining about Morph. I cut out the part where he describes the character bio because I pretty much told you that's all that they're really going off of is that Morph is non-binary in the show. But here's what Jeremy says about.
Is this that dumb
X-Men
British
97.
dude? Yeah,
No,
really
this
loud
is
British dude. Oh,
no, that's Heel versus Babyface.
oh.
You know, a lot of people looked at this and said, hey, man, I'm really looking forward to this. This looks great, yada, yada, yada. Totally understood. But we got a little bit of an issue suddenly because this is how it goes with Disney. The moment that, you know, you see something you're maybe a little bit excited about and boom, done. See you later. It's over.
That little pause.
That's exactly what they do.
Real quick, that little pause there was him describing Morph, by the way.
Real quick, hang on.
Let me just finish the clip. It's almost over.
Retweeted this. Simply put, fuck this show. Again,
what a
it's
baby.
Disney. What do you expect? For those that are excited about X-Men 97, don't let me rain on your parade. Go for it. Be excited for it. Love it. Have at it. I've been through this way too many times with Disney and Hollywood and all of this. And there was some nostalgia bait in that trailer for sure. And I don't have a problem with nostalgia as long as it's nostalgia for the right reasons and not meant to pull you in so that they can then
As
push
long as
their
it's
nonsense.
white nostalgia.
No, it was the best part of the end. Lure you in, then push their nonsense.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're thinking at Disney is how can we fucking ruin Jeremy's fucking day, you fucking jackass.
Why
you
can't-
self-absorbed fucking jackass.
You know,
Jesus Christ.
Disney and Lucasfilm really need to just sit down and think, why haven't we ever thought about appealing to straight white men? We've never had that idea ever. Ever.
Why aren't we looking to the colonizers for heroes, ideas for heroes? Why aren't we looking towards the oppressors?
How ridiculous would it be that a character that can turn into any person, gender, any gender, would be obviously
or even an animal,
they them?
Can they do an animal?
A they them because that's the most proper way to refer to them. It's not that this is what I love. And he openly said this on one of their podcasts, one of their streams. He said that they take something, they spin a narrative out of it.
Yeah.
That is prime there.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean,
so that honestly, that has to be it. Otherwise, are you insane?
you clearly don't have any non-binary friends
And you don't understand.
It's pretty easy, actually.
The X-Men.
Yeah.
Do not
Yes.
ever let people like Eric July control that narrative that it was never about social justice. Even if Stan Lee didn't think that was happening, here's the context. He wrote that shit in 1963. Can you think of something that was going on in 1963
what was going on in
around that time?
1963? Gosh, I couldn't even think about
Now
it.
you
The
can
civil rights movement?
By the way, you can argue against the whole
Sure.
Xavier is MLK and Malcolm X would be Magneto. You can have that argument.
Which is also, if you
care.
read about either one of them, you would know that that's a false narrative too.
It is. And that's why I don't buy into it.
Right.
And on that level, I will say this. When we get to Eric July, I agree with him on that. Because I don't think Magneto and Malcolm X are... No. I don't buy that shit. But I'm just saying...
Well, it's a lazy way of...
Whether Stan Lee thought about that or not, that is what was interpreted. He himself. And Eric July has used this as some kind of way to support his narrative.
Eric.
Of the fact that, like, I didn't think about it, but that's what art is, you know? I guess that's what it became. Because people, that's how they interpreted the story he was telling. And maybe, just maybe, the things that were happening to him, a guy who had commented about racism at that time already, would not be inspired by that idea of social injustice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And over time, of course, there were queer stories that got worked into it because X-Men has always been an interpretation of the oppressed. And what happens, what happens is they try and think that I just don't. You cannot tell me that you cannot see that. It might not be out front and in your face, but like there's no X-Men has never been subtle about what it is.
No.
Ever.
No.
But you still have people like Melanie Mack who claim that like things like morph are the problem. And saying that queer people don't deserve to have it. Listen to her opinion that queer people didn't have any claim to X-Men.
Okay, this looks like it was meant to appease the old school 90s
She's talking about the trailer.
cartoon X-Men fans, right? Wrong. It's a bait and switch. They have absolutely no validity, the whole queer cult.
Kind of like you and your Christianity, a bait and switch.
I'm oppressed, oh, poor me. And so they want to piggyback off of what black people went through in the past, which, mind you, I don't think these days that racism is a widespread issue in the U.S.
Good God. Tell me you are a straight white woman in America without telling me
you are a straight woman, white woman in America.
She also had a tweet about
what a fucking bubble fucking thing to say. What a fucking I've never been outside my fucking bubble ever thing to say. You fucking got oh my God. You
When did like okay when I can't even get it through my head right now because this is again either these people have to be grifting or they really just cannot distinguish. Like they're trying to accuse people like us by saying like lumping gay people in with black people, and as if there's some sort of some sort of oppression Olympics.
No, this is what Melanie Mack literally said. She said they're trying to lump in this with what black people went through in the 60s, which, as a white woman, I can assure you, who never lived through that time, it was not
it's
that
not a
bad.
problem today.
It was not that bad.
White supremacy
and it isn't anymore.
White supremacy runs rampant on Twitter.
Oh, hot.
Runs rampant on Twitter thanks to Elon Musk, and like still a lot of hate crimes in the world, but racism isn't a problem.
You're disgusting. You are such a
she
fucking
goes on,
fake fucking Christian. You fucking hate. You hate. You can't be a Christian and hate. You fucking hypocrite. I mean, Jesus. Literally, Jesus would be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you?
You know what's
using
wrong
my
is
name
is,
to hate?
Yeah.
What the hell is wrong with you?" And he would say hell. You would make him so mad that he would swear.
She goes on later to talk about this. By the way, her video and Jeremy's video are remarkably short in content when actually talking about Morph. And they really talk about XMen 97 being woke. Like Jeremy plays a long clip of Bob Iger, and Melanie fucking goes on a weird tangent about Laura Croft not being hot enough.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, is this how they she was saying how April O'Neil was ugly because she wasn't? She's
got to get that grift of like bitching about I can't jerk off to this character. You know what I mean? But anyway, she had
Melanie Mack. So
hold on. Let me move on.
Gotcha.
Like I want to get to this point. She had a tweet about X-Men 97 saying the X-Men were not queer. You can't create anything worth a toss, so you try to corrupt what already exists, just like Satan himself. And I tweeted, I left out me, but I said, tell me you don't know shit about the X-Men without telling me you don't know shit about the X-Men.
Oh, I retweeted the shit out of that one.
Because truthfully, I don't know how you can think that. So she tries to defend this tweet in this next clip.
That's the fact of the matter. Mm-hmm. That's just where we're at. How every time they try to make all these queer shows and stuff, they don't succeed. For the most part, they don't succeed. There's very rare exceptions. Like I think Brokeback Mountain might have done well back in the day. There are very rare exceptions of that. And so because they can't create new queer stories that would be worth
that
anything,
you would fucking bitch about. Do not. I'm time out. Time out. No.
How many gay stories since Brokeback Mountain?
Time out. These chuds, these fucking people, do not get to say this. Because you could say that, and then you would immediately, if you could make money out of it, complain. Yeah. And be like, they're brainwashing our kids with the gayness. Yeah. The scary, spooky gayness. They're making all your kids trans.
Which has nothing to do with sex until you guys
take
make
that.
Make it
so Melanie,
sex.
take that argument and shove it up your ass.
Because it wouldn't. They want to hijack everything that had already existed prior and try to act like, oh, this was always queer. Oh, it's bullcrap. It is bullcrap. Like I said, just like Satan himself, you want to corrupt what already exists because Satan can't create. He can only corrupt what already is there. And it's the same thing. And this isn't a coincidence because queer ideology, all of that LGBT stuff, it is not of God.
Again.
So based on what she said, she is Satan because Satan can't create. She can only corrupt. I've never seen anything that Melanie Mack has created. Have you? Out of thin air, out of whole cloth, just created something out of nothing. No, she's made her money and her bones off of complaining about shit that already exists. So literally, you just defined yourself as Satan. Satan is Melanie Mack. Thanks, Melanie Mack. Did you hear that huge clue she just gave us? Thank you. Now we don't have to listen to her ever again.
Yeah. Well, you know you're fucking.
You know we're gonna.
Because it would make... It's the perfect crime.
It's the perfect crime. No, but that's hilarious because you literally just described yourself.
It's just
describe yourself.
Again, if you have to... I don't know, man. I truly think she has, some really weird, angry bigoted views about gay people and trans people. Like, it is weird.
She's had something
Like,
happen
all
to her
joking
in her
aside,
past.
That I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't want to speculate,
I
but
do not either. No.
but I just
I hope she gets some psychiatric
some,
or
like-
therapy or something.
and I don't.
But trying to take it out on like every single gay person is not the way to solve whatever is going on inside and whatever hurt that you may have been caused. I don't know. But that's not Christian either.
To be throwing around the F
Shit.
slur as much as she does, and
Dude,
talk the way
yeah.
that she does about gay
Dude.
people, and like, it's just fucking weird. It's weird, bigoted. I'm
I'm going to speculate. She was engaged to be married once, and then right before the marriage,
She was married, but I don't want to get into
the
that.
guy was like, "I'm gay," and now she hates gay people.
Maybe not. Who knows? Some people just hate people. I don't know.
Yeah.
Fuck it. All right, different angle to bitch about XMen 97. I know we got a lot of clips. We're trying to get through this, people. This is most of the episode, to be honest. Tyrone Magnus, who is a popular YouTuber, he's got over 1 million subscribers. He's never been on this show before.
Wow.
He's a guy that got really popular back in the day when like React videos were just becoming a thing. Like, he would just react to trailers. And then he kind of evolved his content, and then I don't know where along the way, I've never been subscribed to him, but somewhere along the way he really has been leaning into the anti-woke shit. So much so that he said he did not, and made a whole like couple video, like 2 or 3 videos about it, talking about how he didn't take his fiance to Disney because it's woke, to Disneyland. This man is your age, by the way.
Did she want to go?
Yes.
So
And
he's a dick,
Yeah.
and he's also a controlling dick.
How old are you?
I'm 48.
He's your age. So like I think he said he's 48. Again, I don't really follow his content, but I've every so often I see one of these videos pop up. And
part of being married, buddy, is that you're gonna have to like do things that you don't.
Fiance,
you know,
I think.
not- I know, but you're gonna get married, and that's not a good sign for his fiance. I mean, it's just not.
I can't go.
She wants to go to Disney, and instead of being like, "Of course, sweetie, let's
And why
do
would
that."
you share that with the world? But that's not what we're talking about here today.
I don't think
He
he's
made-
engaged. I think she's fake.
Now, I do want to say that this is clearly meant to have
Hey,
some.
I'm engaged.
Can we talk about the video?
No.
Come on.
No.
So, he talks about Rogue's ass. This is what this video is about.
It's a
So
cartoon.
there's a little humor to this.
Okay.
But there's a thing going around the internet that her ass was bigger and more voluptuous in the 90s one.
Oh, for Christ's
And this one, her ass didn't look that great in that trailer. This is what we're talking about. This is a man that is your age. Here's clip number 1. And at one point, he talks about how like there's going to be kids that watch this, but so there's got to be like a balance to make these things, hot enough for him to jack off to, but not make kids too excited. He didn't say that, but he might as well have. It's kind of weird. No, I'm just kidding. But he starts off bitching about what Melanie Mack's been bitching about, that women are getting uglier in our media.
I find it really strange these days because recently they've been de-beautifying, if you will, the female characters in fiction. I've noticed that. It's strange to me because shouldn't a woman's beauty be celebrated? Shouldn't a woman's curves be celebrated? They're part of her beauty. Many women are curvy. Women have curves. A lot of women have curves. So I don't understand what's wrong with that. By the way, they're not de-beautifying the men, it seems.
The dudes are still hot.
I mean, these guys still have muscles. You know what I'm saying? In these games and shows and stuff. So the men still have muscles, but the women can't have curves. Why?
Why is he? So that's where I got that from.
Why?
He clearly didn't watch the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie because, the newest one. Because
Yeah.
Melanie Mack was pissed about how curvy.
Oh, he probably bitched about that too.
Did he, you think?
Yeah, probably. He probably said the same thing. I don't know. I didn't look at
Because
it.
he's talking about curves,
I
and
just-
that was one of the things that...
To think that this dude, and good on him for making a living, but like to
So
think
wait-
that he like sat down and said, I want to make a video to talk about this character's ass.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, he's a humorous guy. You can tell he's got a little bit of humor to him.
Sure.
And by the way, of all these clips I have edited, I cut them down to try and get to the gist of what they were saying.
Right.
If you really want the full context, I will let you. I'll put the link.
No, what I'm
you
guessing.
can go look at their videos. I mean, I'm not.
I actually kind of deciphered it a little bit. What he means by curves are big tits and a nice ass.
I mean, let's
Just say that then. Just fucking
Tyler,
say
we
that.
gotta focus on what.
Go for it.
What are the facts here?
Whatever.
Many women are curvy. Women have curves. A lot of women have curves.
I'm aware.
Women have curves.
Yeah.
But again, the video itself is pretty like jokey and stuff, and I got the guy that has a sense of humor. But like, this is such a weird video because on one hand he's kind of having fun with it, but then he says things like this, and it's like, that's not. I even cut out a part where he complains about the Horizon video games and how they somehow uglified the main character, which they didn't. But it's so silly to even think about getting worked up about this. And I'm not saying he wants to jerk off to this. I'm just making a joke. Because I don't even think Melanie Mac believes in masturbation. So I doubt she's diddling herself to this. But
Wow.
What, was that too harsh?
No. We've been way harsher than that.
It was a little blue.
Just talking about,
But I'm not saying...
We're just talking about flicking the bean, okay?
Exactly. I'm not saying that these people want to do that for the characters. I'm just saying as a whole, it's kind of weird. Is it not? Is it not weird to bitch and moan about a character being non-binary when they're a shapeshifter?
Yeah.
Isn't it weird to kind of think about this cartoon character's ass, who you even talk about will be seen by kids? So then this next clip is him trying to explain what the impact it could be if it's too sexualized on a young person. And the weirdest possible anecdote I've ever heard. And I don't know what to make of it.
I had a girlfriend that told me one time, she said, because I was talking about the whole thing about when you're younger and there's like these feelings you don't understand when you see
Why is this a conversation you're having with someone? It's kind of weird.
something. And she was like, yeah, she was like, I remember seeing certain guys on TV when I was young and feeling warm down there and not understanding what was actually happening and why I felt this way. So I think there's a way to keep from stimulating younger humans in that way, and also showing a woman and a man in their natural, state. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't. I don't know what you're saying. And this is
You're trying to control when any specific human sexually awakens, whether they know it or not. You can't fucking do it, dude. Look, the first time.
Okay, if that conversation did happen, there was nothing wrong with what she said. And I don't think
Absolutely not.
I don't
Are
think
you kidding me?
I don't think he's portraying it that way. But like you're saying, like exactly what you're saying. Sorry, I cut you off. But the whole. Why would anybody get control over when you become sexually aroused? That's so weird.
No. What I'm saying, I knew when I was 6 or 7, I had a thing where I was rubbing my bed or whatever, and I didn't ejaculate because I was far too young to have that. But I think you know what I mean. That's
You're experimenting. It's.
I'm
whatever.
saying
I don't
just fucking let me finish this one thing. Okay? I was not sexually awakened or aroused. I was fucking 7, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about her being sexually aroused, because that's not what she's saying. She's saying that, like me, yes, like you were saying when you came in, I was experimenting. I was figuring my own. We probably all had moments like that when we were far too young. And no, we all have to have those moments, I think, to have healthy sexuality later on in life.
But to have that conversation,
absolutely not talking about
based on 2 screenshots.
Yeah.
And saying we got to make something hot, but not hot enough that kids will get aroused by it. That's such a weird thing to say.
And why? Yeah. And
And I don't want to make it clear. I'm not accusing him of anything. I just think the whole thing, this whole video is weird. It's a weird thing. And it just, again, shows you that this is what they're doing. They got to make money. They got to find a way to bitch about this popular thing.
Now, let me address one thing really quick. There was a little bit of a time when things were kind of shifting. There was a particular artist who was kind of accused of doing like the super boob. Do you know what I'm talking about? It was just a shapeless, like just. We've talked about this on the show. I can't remember the artist's name. Yeah. It's a female artist, but there was kind of there is a more realistic direction in comic art now. That when I was growing up, it was all, Amazon physiques. It was fucking tight buns, small waist, big tits. I mean,
yeah.
And it was guys in spandex with fucking, like 97 abs because they got, everything going on. It's just not realistic, right? It's not realistic. And there has been a shift towards more realistic depictions of heroes and other characters in comics, which means just like not every woman is built like a fucking Amazon, neither now are some of these. Like Wasp is like noticeably shorter and more buxom because she's always been kind of looked at. She's always been kind of described in the comics as very, very like she's very very sexy, but things like that they just they just changed that. And yes, I get the criticism, but at the same time it's like, what do you, there's so many things to jerk off to in this world. Why are you relying on X-Men 97?
And if you're not and you're complaining about it, weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's move on to our final thing. Again, this is taking up almost the whole show. We're gonna talk about Eric July. So Eric July back in
Fantastic Four.
Back in 2019 made a video in response to a History Channel article about the civil rights inspiration behind the X-Men and the allegory of Professor X and being MLK and Malcolm X being Magneto. Or even I don't agree with that, but he talks about that in that video, and I didn't bother to do the research because his whole arguments make me laugh. So he in his video, like his third video about this topic, really tripling down on the idea that X-Men was never meant to be about the social justice stuff and be woke. And again, I will grant it and say that yes, Stan Lee said initially it wasn't that. And Eric July himself talks about how he says that art change, people perceive arts in certain ways. But there's no denying that isn't what the X-Men became. X-Men was always like that, even in issue number 1 with Magneto. In fact, Eric July was so mad about the comparison with Magneto to Malcolm X, he inadvertently explained why, yes, X-Men is woke.
For well over a decade with those original X-Men books. That never was a thing. Magneto was as cutthroat of a villain as you could possibly be. I mean, from the number 1 issue, from that X-Men issue number 1, he was talking about how mutants were superior to humans, and he wanted to rule over them. He was a supremacist through and through, and he was an evil son of a gun.
Dude, how is that not woke? By your standards, by your own standards, how is that not woke? So you can't tell me that it's not woke, but also, if that were made now, say it was woke. Mm-hmm. Because obviously Magneto's the villain because he's a supremacist, like you just said. Doesn't that sound woke to you? By your standards, by your definition?
What's going on is that all of these guys they've made a lot of money and they've made a lot of content and they've made a lot of stuff, and the way that they've been able to get successful and stuff is that they're very black and white. They're they have a code. They have I mean, granted, the line keeps shifting. You know, they'll keep moving the goalposts as long as they need to. You know, understand?
Yeah, to keep making their money.
Of course, and as things get more and more accepted, you know, and whatnot. But I just think they're just. You want to be so black and white about everything, and real life is not black and white. It really rarely is.
Yeah.
Honestly, the only time real life is black and white is when you're sitting at a red light and it turns green and you're the first one. You should go.
Yeah.
That's pretty black and white, cut and dried.
So
no gray area there.
When Eric is wrapping up this video,
Sure.
he has a freak out about this.
About what?
The idea that there was any sort of like civil rights stuff and allegories with the LGBTQ community and things like that. He just like the way that this guy just doesn't get stories. I just don't think he understands stories.
What did this whole hero is not liked by public or groups of people aren't liked by public, therefore civil rights? Where did that come from? Because it's like, even with like something like the Doom Patrol, like this is something that has been just in general storytelling has been a thing for centuries, man. I have no idea why they think that that's somehow unique to trying to fight homophobia or trying to fight racial injustice. It is insane. It blows my mind. Like that's not anything that's unique to black people or unique to gay people. There's been a storytelling element, for quite literally centuries.
Did he not understand the things that he was saying?
I mean, as recently as like, you know, when did black people get the right to vote in America? You're telling me that stories of black people and other oppressed groups rising up have been popular in the world for centuries?
Because slaves
bro.
As long as
maybe 50 years.
As long as human beings have created have had society and civilizations, we have had classes. That's just how we exist.
Yeah.
It sucks. It's shitty. That's just how life has been for as long as we've been alive. So of course, and what he gets so frustrated about is hilarious to me. Where he's like, it's not just black people or homophobia or things like that. Exactly, that's the point.
Yes.
Why do you think people connect with X-Men?
Yes.
Because it's about all of us. Even though it's obviously centered it's more of an allegory for people that have been oppressed, but it is a great story about all of us and understanding what it means to be human. And to think, like, but him to get upset that people attached it to civil rights because of the time it was written, and because, like, he talks about with Claremont adding in the fact that Magneto is Jewish and was there in the Holocaust. That was, like, everything that's what also drives me crazy. He tries to be this purist about Stan Lee. Let's be honest about Stan Lee. I'm not going to piss on the man's legacy. He did amazing things for Marvel. He's done amazing things for comic books. He's one of the best creators to ever live. But he wasn't the best writer. And everybody that reads X-Men would argue that X-Men got to where it is now and has the identity it is because of Claremont.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And everything. And then he even talks about that, saying, like, all that stuff came later. And trying to say, like, well, it didn't start as this. That is absolutist talk. And that is silly when these characters have existed since the fucking 60s, man. And like, there's been a joke around the, like, sorry, I'm going off here, but with the Fandom Initiative stuff, there's been jokes about him not understanding multiverses. I really don't think he does. I really don't think he understands, like, this stuff. He tries to claim he does, but then he acts like he acts like what Stan Lee said in the 60s is law. That is what the X-Men are. Even though everybody argues the X-Men got better with other writers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It doesn't make much sense.
It's fucking crazy. Like, why even die on this hill, dude? For what? It's just silly to me.
Yeah.
All of this is silly. Yeah.
Off panel, off topic. Talk with Jake and Tyler.